So the Riverfront Development Corporation initiated a series of public meetings that started in March, and they hired the Conciliancy Consulting Group to carry out those public meetings in partnership with LRK and Associates, which is Lenny Ricks and Kiss Architects and Associates. So the Conciliancy Group worked in tandem or partnership with the architect firm to carry out these public processes. So we had our first one, Kevin, in March. There were actually 4 meetings. Skate Memphis really focused in on having these meetings be well attended by skaters and any other folks that are supporting our efforts. We focused our efforts on getting people out to the meetings that were, one was at the Mud Island River Park itself, and the other one was at Memphis Botanical Gardens. So we just really wanted to make sure we had these meetings well attended by skaters to let the Riverfront Development Corporation know, how serious and how enthusiastic we were about, the whole prospect of putting a skate park on the tip of the island. So the meetings went really well. The first meeting, the way the meetings work, first of all, is all these different ideas are thrown out there by the public, about 8 to 10 tables, and then they list all the ideas on these different sheets. So the first meeting, the skate park was thrown out there as an idea, and the public got to vote on it with these little blue dots. We got 5 blue dots for voting on each of the different ideas that were thrown out there, and I think the skate park got like 55 votes. And the next closest one, I think, was year-round access, which got around 20 votes. A lot of people also wanted to see playgrounds put out there for kids, splash parks, and all the other things that Memphis needs, especially when it gets hot in the summer. So overall, the skate park was very prominent in that meeting. And then in the Memphis Botanical Gardens meeting, it dominated. Like, there was nothing even close to it. It got 200 votes. And then the snake run was even thrown out as an idea. That got around 50-something votes. And then again, these other amenities were popular as well, including the play parks. Some people wanted to see the carousel put out there. Other people wanted to see an aquarium put on the river park. But it was very clear that if you were just to look at who showed up at the meetings, the skate park was the dominant feature of those meetings. So we thought that was a great success. They don't have it scheduled, but unofficially it's going to be probably sometime between September and October. So okay. We did also have the Phase 2 meetings, which you were able to attend the Botanical Gardens meeting for that. That meeting I was not at myself since I was out in California for a business meeting, but I heard that meeting went really well too. You probably got to hear more about what all went on there.
Yeah. And
then we also, after that meeting, we had a small meeting, a focus group meeting with the architects and the Conciliancy Group, in which there are about 4 of us there, including myself, Chris Gurley, Eric Matthews from Launch Memphis, who's not a skateboarder but has become a major advocate for our efforts, since he fully grasped just exactly what sort of transformation we're offering for the downtown area if we were to have a skate park on the tip. So that meeting went really well, and Frank Ricks, who's the architect working on this project, was really excited about it. He came up with some ideas that blew our minds. He had this whole concept of creating intermingling snake runs with like 3 different ability levels mixed between the snake runs, going from the very beginning of the river park all the way to the tip, which is about close to 3/4 of a mile of snake run, which would be absolutely wild to have that. That would probably put us on the national scene for creating a new venue that really doesn't exist in the skateboarding world right now. We probably see a lot more people coming in that don't skateboard that would be interested in skating, because now you'd be able to start surfing or snowboarding concrete rather than just doing the typical sort of moves that skateboarders do. So the second step was gathering 5 different concepts. That Phase 2 meeting that you were at is what they did. You could move around all the different little concepts or ideas on what looked like a game board. The river park would be the game board. And then the phase 2 focus group meetings, which I just talked about, that's where small groups of stakeholders got together with them and talked about what specific concepts they liked the most out of those 5 concepts that were presented in the public meetings. And then the third step would be this meeting that will be coming up in October, where they're going to present the final master plan to the public, in which they've taken all these ideas that you talked about, the brainstorming, and compile it into a final master plan and see what the public thinks. And probably at that stage, you're looking at the public meeting for the purpose of fine-tuning that master plan to make sure it's really what everyone wants. So, and then it'll probably be one more set of meetings with smaller groups to really get it right. So that would be the next step, and then from there, the decision has to be made on whether this plan is going to be moved forward with backed with funding, or whether it'll just be a plan that sits there dormant, which I think we all know that there's been a number of plans that actually have never been executed and implemented. So there is that possibility that it just stays at the planning phase. But I think with the momentum and enthusiasm that we're generating within the public, that it's going to move forward. So you can't just ignore something and shelve it when there's just too many people invested in it from the public standpoint. So I feel strongly that this project's going to move forward. So this is the brainchild of Chris Gurley, who just comes out with these logos on the fly. So this is basically the logo of the Mud Island River Park, and Chris just pirated it, or should I say celebrated the logo by putting skate mud on there. So I think it's quite appropriate, since that's what we think is going to happen in the future. So might as well start planning right now with t-shirts. There's a Facebook group called Skate Mud Tees, and we have about 75 members. We've already sold 27 t-shirts, and we've got another order in for 63, so probably going to be topping 100 pretty soon. I like to see 200 to 300 of these things sold, and then we can at least say, hey, we've got that many supporters that are pretty excited about this project. So yeah, pick it up from, you can order it from that Facebook group site, or you can go to Skate Life Memphis and also send me an email that way too, and we can get you fixed. Well, we still have the public project going on for Memphis Parks and Recreation. They just approved the budget last week, and the skate park funding stayed on the capital improvements budget, so it was not removed, which is good news. That's the good news. The bad news is we've had the money for a year, which means something should be happening. So I'm really pressing you right now to try to get some sort of timeline from Parks and Recreation as well as our Department of Engineering. If we don't have a timeline, and if no one's willing to commit to a groundbreaking date, we could see this project put off indefinitely. But Jim Strickland, our city councilman, has come on board and is working as well to make sure that a timeline will be established from those two departments. So I'm pretty confident that one's going to move forward, and hopefully we have a groundbreaking date in the fall or maybe the winter. So we could have a skate park by next summer.